guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a review on these brushes right here. And if you do not know what they are, this is not a toothbrush. These are actually makeup brushes. Now I've been seeing these types of brushes go around YouTube like crazy and also Instagram. I'm sure you guys have seen them, and they're basically just like this really soft bristle type of handle brush. Now I wanted to try them out for myself, so I just decided just to go onto Amazon and just order an affordable set, because I know some of these brushes, like one of these brushes can be about $100, which is just crazy. I got my entire set for $35.80 and it comes with 10 pieces in the set. Also, this is my third time filming this video because I did do a first impression basically type of video and I was giving my thoughts on how I really felt, but I figured that video was a little bit too long. It was about 25 minutes because it was the very first time I ever tried these brushes. I was honestly confused by them, not sure how to use them, figuring it out, because when I received my pack, it came with these 10 brushes right here in all different sizes. It didn't come with a pamphlet and I was just like, we're off to a great start. Okay, you open it up. It comes like this, so no pamphlet. So this is what the brushes look like, and if you can see, there's 10 different brushes, and just initially looking at this, it looks much prettier than what I thought they were gonna look like. So I am going to be kind of referencing back to my very first video so I can just kind of show you, but I do just want to do like a shorter video and a recap on how I feel. I do not have the other pieces because I ended up just handing them to a friend so that they can try them out because they've really been wanting to try them. These are obviously makeup brushes, not only for your face, but also your eyes. You can do your eyeliner, contour, blush, highlight, you name it, you can do it. After trying them out, honestly, when I first grabbed them, I thought they were much prettier in person. I mean, that looks pretty stunning. I got a rose gold set. The bristles are extremely, extremely soft. Now, when I first got the product, I was really confused on which brush went for what because I did not receive a pamphlet in the box. So basically what I did was I just referenced two Instagram videos. I didn't even look at YouTube. I honestly just looked at Instagram because if you just type in like Artis brush, these will just pop up. This is sort of like a dupe, a replica of the brush. So there's one company called Artis or Artis, not sure how people are saying it or whatever, but they're like the more legit brand. So I just got kind of like knockoffs of them just because it's extremely pricey. Plus, I figured it would be a good way just to try them out, because if I ended up buying the pricey ones, how would I know if I would even like them? Long story short, let's get to the nitty gritty. I got a 10-piece set. Immediately, I just was like, hey, let's start with the face because I always see girls do their foundation with these brushes. So then I started doing my foundation. I felt the bristles and it felt really, really soft. I absolutely loved it. Usually I start with my eyes and then my face. I was like, let's just go for the face first. I was just excited just to put some foundation on this baby right here. Immediately what I noticed is that it was airbrushing the foundation into my skin so nice. It looked really, really good. But what I did notice, there was a ton of flexibility in this neck where it was just a little bit scary where I felt it was about to snap off. And then at some point I was kind of like, oh, maybe it's meant to be flexible, kind of like, I don't know, like a toothbrush is meant to get in all that nitty gritty out of your teeth. But after it kind of made like a snap and I was like, oh, I don't think it's supposed to be that flexible. So one thing that you do have to keep in mind is that this part is extremely fragile, and it's probably just due to the fact that it is a cheaper brush. So I'm sure with the more expensive ones, they're a little bit more sturdy, but who knows because I don't have one. So I started doing my foundation. I absolutely loved it. Noticed this thing could maybe like crack off, so I was just really careful and I absolutely loved it. Let's just go on to the eyes. So I did use a couple of the other brushes. I'm sure if you buy the more expensive ones, the bristles are really nice and soft. The ones that were a little bit smaller, like say like this size, were a little bit more rough. That seemed that they were supposed to be used for the eyes. Again, I didn't have a pamphlet. I was just kind of referencing to things. So I saw people doing their eyeshadow, blending it out. The bristles on that one in my crease, so rough. I legitimately didn't even want to do my other side. It was just really complicated. I didn't see it buffing anything in. It just seemed like it was about to give me a rug burn on my eyes. And I didn't really want a rug burn on my eyes because I don't know when a rug burn would ever be beneficial. Let's try to buff this shadow in. Ooh, it's pretty rough. Yikes. Okay, so maybe this is where the price kind of comes into play, because if you're gonna be spending like $100 or more on brushes, I'm sure the bristle quality is much different, because this is pretty rough, and it's so rough that I'm not going to move on with it because it's like almost It feels like it's gonna give me like a rug burn on my eye. Let me just try the other brush. This one looks a little bit softer. It's a little bit softer, but it's still pretty rough. And I'm just gonna stop right there. So when it comes down to it, I absolutely did not like any of the brushes for the eyes. I thought it was way too complicated, took too long, and I'd rather just stick to my good old makeup brushes that I have. Even if I did have extremely soft bristles, it just wasn't precise, it took too long, and it was just doing too much. When it came down to contour, that's what I was really kind of excited for, because I see tons of girls taking their brush, dipping it into their cream contour, making that perfect straight line for their contour, blending it out, and it just looking magnificent. But usually most of the time I see the girls dip it into the contour shade, just make the lines, and then what do? They usually end up buffing it out with a beauty blender or just taking another brush and buffing it out and not using the oval brush to buff it out. After really paying attention to a lot of videos, I just noticed that it was really meant for just placement almost. So I tried for myself, I did placement all over my face using different types of sizes of the brushes even within the week of me filming that first video. And the bristles, it just made my contour look really bad, almost to the point where it was just like lifting up the product where it was looking kind of like dotted and patchy, and I was just like, no. Then I did try a brush for underneath my eye, and I thought it was going to blend out the concealer really nicely and feel really nice and soft. But honestly, even if the bristles are really soft, once I started placing my concealer underneath and rubbing it buffing it in, it just felt like rubbing, because if I didn't really kind of tug underneath my eye, the product was not blending out. And obviously we do not want to be that rough underneath our eyes. I mean, at least I don't. And I was literally tugging underneath my eye to try to blend it out. My concealer looked pretty bad. I tried it another day and I was just like, there's no way in heck that I'm going to be using this and just rubbing underneath the eye really rough. And I just don't want to get the bristles in my eye. And another thing is I'm not sure if I really like this underneath my eye, just because a sponge is so soft that you just tap it. Right now I'm noticing like I'm really just underneath my eye. I mean, not hard, but at the same time you are bringing like a lot more pressure underneath the eye. Okay, I don't know about this brush for concealer, because it just seems like it's just doing the most. This is a sensitive area. You don't want to create more fine lines. You know what I mean? You want to keep it nice and fresh, and you want to be gentle underneath that area. So for underneath the eyes, I thought this product was so bad. Overall, I will say that I'm pretty disappointed in just using these brushes in general, because like I said, just by testing out these brushes, even after the first time I tried them within the week, I just thought that it was just taking way too long to do my makeup. I was trying to just figure out and be like a magician and try to figure how did these girls get their face and contour on point when it's just so difficult for me to do it. Long story short, like I said, I was just really looking at the Instagram videos and I noticed lots of girls were just placing it, kind of buffing it out a little, and then whoa, it was all done. It's just like, I wanted to see the middle process. Let's see it buff out. I will say that I really enjoyed the larger brush though. So if anything, if you were going to try one of these brushes, I think the best one is to pick a larger round one to buff in the foundation, because that part I actually really did enjoy. The only thing that I would say is it's kind of hard to get around the eyebrows. My foundation looked awesome and it covers like a ton of area, so you're not tugging at your face a lot. I didn't find that it was too rough on my skin. It really glided. But anything underneath the eye or on the eye, it was just crap. I don't really see the hype in these brushes. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody who is just like, woo, all about it and, you know, with their magic wands, but I don't see the point of these, period. Only maybe a foundation brush to buff it in. Other than that, I mean, for placement, you can just use your straight finger or a regular concealer brush that you already have. I don't know why these are getting so hyped up. It's just doing too much. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? The world will never know, and that's how I feel about these brushes. How the heck are people doing a full face with these brushes? I will never know. So that is it for my video. I just kind of wanted to make it a little bit shorter. I know this video might have seem a little long, but trust me, that other video was about 25 minutes and it was just a little bit too much. But all in all, honestly, I would just say just save your money. If you're interested, I would just get the foundation brush. Try a cheap one from Amazon to see if you even like how it feels or the technique. Yeah, that's the only one I really recommend. I wouldn't even invest in the more expensive ones because I just don't see myself using them. Just gonna stick to the good old mega brushes, and I rather actually use my fingers than use those brushes. Just being honest. All right, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because it is free, $99. I'll leave all my social medias down below and check out my other videos that I posted and I'll link those as well. I'll see you guys next time. Mwah! Whoop, whoop.